Welcome back, everyone, to The Deep Dive. This is our space where we really try to explore profound wisdom and unpack some fascinating insights from incredible sources.
It's great to be back.
And if you're finding these conversations helpful, or maybe just, enjoying diving deep with us, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, it genuinely helps us reach more curious minds and share these kinds of explorations.
It really does. And for those of you who might want exclusive and maybe early access to these deep dives, you might want to consider joining our membership.
That support truly makes a significant difference in bringing this content to life. We really appreciate it.
We absolutely do. Okay, so today
We're continuing our new Ruhi Deep Dive series. We started with Book 1, Exploring the Foundations.
Right.
And this week, we're taking that next significant step. We're opening up Book 2, Arising to Serve.
Arising to Serve. And, for those perhaps less familiar or maybe just wondering about their significance, the Ruhi Institute books, they're quite foundational in the Baha'i community, aren't they?
They really are. They form a sequence of courses.
But they're not just theoretical texts, right? That's the key thing.
Exactly. Their unique purpose is to weave together study with practical action. It creates a kind of dynamic framework.
So it's about helping individuals advance along what's often called a path of service.
Precisely. It's a very deliberate approach, you can say. The core idea is moving beyond just intellectually agreeing with spiritual principles.
Right, beyond just nodding along.
Yeah. It's about integrating them into your daily life, into your interactions. There's this twofold purpose.
Which is?
Fostering your own spiritual and intellectual growth while simultaneously contributing to the transformation of society.
Okay, so personal and collective transformation, hand in hand.
Absolutely. So the ultimate aim is the systematic application of Baha'u'llah's teachings, not only to our individual lives, but to the broader life of humanity itself.
Yeah.
It's practical spiritual development in action.
Leading to societal upliftment. I like that phrase.
Yeah.
That distinction feels crucial. It's not just about what you know, but about how you live and how you contribute.
That's the essence of it.
And today, our specific deep dive is focusing on the very first unit of Book 2. It's titled The Joy of Teaching.
A beautiful title.
It really is. And the stated purpose right there in the material is to appreciate that the joy of teaching lies in the act of sharing with others the Word of God.
So the joy is in the act of sharing.
Exactly. So our mission, our goal for this deep dive is to really unpack what this joy of teaching truly means. How is it cultivated? What are the essential attitudes and efforts needed to sustain it?
And connecting it all back, presumably, to that personal spiritual growth and collective service we just talked about.
Precisely. So let's begin to unpack this profound concept. We're starting in section 1, which is aptly titled The Ocean of Revelation, Discovery, and Purpose.
A great place to start.
It really sets the stage for service, doesn't it? It builds directly on what was established in Book 1.
Right. It frames arising to serve not as something totally new, but as a direct continuation of this path of service that, participants have already begun to walk.
And it's explicitly described as an active path. It uses the phrase, a series of acts of service.
Wherein our vision firmly fixed on the emergence of a new world order. That's quite a vision.
It is. That emphasis on activity seems vital. This path isn't just passive contemplation.
No, definitely not. It's fundamentally about putting Baha'u'llah's teachings into concrete, consistent practice. This active engagement, our efforts to apply his teachings to our own lives and to the life of humanity at large, that's really what defines walking the path of service.
It's a call to dynamic participation, then, in the world's transformation.
Well put, yeah.
And Bahá'u'lláh himself offers this incredibly powerful, really evocative imagery. He likens his revelation to an ocean.
The ocean metaphor.
Yes, he states, and I find this quote just resonates so deeply, "Oh, my servants, my divinely ordained revelation may be likened unto an ocean,
in whose depths are concealed innumerable pearls of great price, of surpassing luster."
Innumerable pearls? What does that vivid ocean imagery convey to you about the nature of the revelation itself?
Well, what's really captivating is the sheer scale, the richness it implies. It's not a pond, is it? Not a shallow stream.
No, it's vast.
It's an ocean, fathomless, inexhaustible. And the description, innumerable pearls of great price, of surpassing luster. It suggests the wisdom, the guidance, the spiritual treasures within Baha'u'llah's revelation are well, not only precious beyond measure,
but also limitless.
limitless in their capacity to illuminate, to enrich, and ultimately to transform human life.
Yeah.
It hints at a journey of discovery that never really ends.
And it's clear these treasures aren't just, sitting there for casual observation. The quote continues.
Ah, yes, the call to action.
It is the duty of every seeker to bestir himself and strive to attain the shores of this ocean.
So that he may, in proportion to the eagerness of his search and the efforts he hath exerted, partake of such benefits as have been preordained in God's irrevocable and hidden tablets.
That phrasing really underscores personal agency, doesn't it? Diligent effort. It suggests an active, almost adventurous pursuit.
It absolutely does. The phrase, duty of every seeker, really elevates seeking truth. It's not just a pastime, it's framed as a fundamental responsibility.
A duty.
Right. It's not passive reception, but an active, diligent pursuit. And to bestir oneself, that implies a conscious awakening, doesn't it? Shaking off that spiritual inertia, taking initiative.
And strive.
Striving means sustained, dedicated effort, moving beyond just fleeting curiosity. The implication is profound. Our own proactive engagement, our sincerity in searching, directly impacts the benefits we receive.
And this idea that these benefits are preordained in God's irrevocable and hidden tablets, what do you make of that?
It suggests a kind of divine design for human fulfillment, doesn't it? But one which is unlocked precisely through this earnest pursuit, this striving. It's there for us, but we have to reach for it.
So our efforts are directly proportional to the benefits we receive, a clear cause and effect in the spiritual realm.
Seems so.
The text then beautifully reminds us that from previous studies, perhaps in Book 1, the beauty of divine guidance is already evident, and it brings forth some of these exquisitely beautiful pearls from Baha'u'llah's writings for us to ponder.
Some core principles?
Exactly. The first one highlighted is the utterance of God is a lamp, whose light is these words. Ye are the fruits of one tree and the leaves of one branch.
Unity, interconnectedness, right away.
Immediately. But what are the implications of that unity for our daily lives, for building community? It's more than just a nice feeling, surely.
Oh, much more. It goes far beyond just a comforting sentiment of togetherness. This curl establishes the fundamental underlying principle of the oneness of humanity. We're all from the same divine source, part of the same grand design.
So, practically speaking.
Practically, the implication is that when we encounter conflict or perceived differences or divisions, whether they're racial, national, ideological, whatever, our first instinct shouldn't be to draw lines or assign blame.
But instead,
it's to search for the shared root, the common origin, the inherent unity that underlies all that apparent diversity. This understanding, if we really take it on board, radically reshapes how we approach problem solving in communities.
How so?
It shifts our focus from us versus them to how do we collectively nurture the health and vitality of the whole tree. It transforms our approach from competition to collaboration, recognizing that harm to one branch inevitably impacts the entire tree.
That's a powerful shift in perspective, a real paradigm shift.
It really is.
Then there's the best beloved of all things in my sight is justice. Turn not away therefrom if thou desirest me, and neglect it not that I may confide in thee.
Wow. Placing justice right at the absolute center.
It seems so, not just a social ideal, but a spiritual prerequisite almost.
Absolutely. The centrality of justice here is just unmistakable. It's not simply presented as a moral principle or a legal concept. It's the best beloved of all things to God.
Which elevates it.
Hugely. It elevates justice to a spiritual cornerstone. It implies that to truly desire me, to genuinely seek nearness to the divine, one must embody justice in all its forms. Neglecting justice isn't just a societal failing.
It's a spiritual one.
Exactly, a spiritual failing, a turning away from the essence of God's will. It underscores that spiritual growth and social justice are, well, inextricably linked. You can't truly advance spiritually while tolerating or perpetuating injustice. It shapes our character.
And opens us to divine trust, as the quote says.
Precisely. That I may confide in thee.
And then something that feels incredibly relevant, especially today. Be anxiously concerned with the needs of the age ye live in, and center your deliberations on its exigencies and requirements.
Relevance, engagement.
Yes. It really stresses that relevance and active engagement with contemporary issues, not just retreating from the world or focusing only on past traditions.
This pearl is such a powerful call to dynamic, present-focused engagement with reality. It stops spiritual practice from becoming, insular or detached from the pressing needs of humanity.
To be anxiously concerned. What does that really mean?
I think it means a profound, compassionate awareness of the world's challenges. Poverty, prejudice, conflict, environmental degradation, all of it. It demands that our spiritual insights aren't just kept for personal meditation.
But brought to bear on the problems.
Exactly. Brought to bear on the exigencies and requirements of our current era. It implies that true spirituality isn't passive, but actively seeks solutions for the world's most urgent problems. It's about being a spiritual citizen of the world.
Contributing to its healing. I like that.
Hmm.
Building directly on that, the next pearl. All men have been created to carry forward an ever-advancing civilization.
Collective purpose. Shared responsibility.
Right. A sense of ongoing responsibility for human progress that never truly ends.
It is, and it's such a profoundly optimistic vision. This highlights humanity's collective destiny, our inherent capacity for progress. We're not just here for individual salvation or, material gain.
Our very creation has purpose.
Yes. Our very creation is imbued with the purpose of contributing to this continuous process of social, intellectual, and spiritual evolution. This concept gives immense purpose to our lives, to our collective endeavors. It transforms our work, our relationships, our community-building efforts.
And to conscious participation.
Exactly. Conscious participation in this grand, unfolding civilization. And it suggests civilization isn't static, it's dynamic, always improving, always needing our input.
And a beautiful, enduring thought that provides such a crucial perspective shift. The world passeth away, and that which is everlasting is the love of God.
The eternal versus the transient.
A powerful antidote to materialism, isn't it?
Definitely. This pearl serves as such a potent reminder of what is truly lasting and meaningful. In a world often obsessed with fleeting material things, temporary successes, external validation, it redirects our focus.
To the spiritual reality.
To the eternal, unchanging spiritual reality of God's love. It's a call to cultivate an inner detachment from the temporary and to reorient our affections towards what truly endures and nourishes the soul.
But it doesn't mean abandoning the world.
No, not at all. It means living in the world, but with a profound spiritual perspective, understanding that our true security and happiness lie beyond its transient forms.
Finally, the last pearl presented here. Thou art my lamp, and my light is in thee. Get thou from it thy radiance, and seek none other than me, for I have created thee rich, and have bountifully shed my favor upon thee.
Such a beautiful affirmation.
It speaks to an inherent spiritual capacity, doesn't it? And divine grace already given to us.
It's a profound affirmation of humanity's inherent nobility, our spiritual potential. Each individual is, in essence, a lamp with light already within. It's not something we have to acquire from outside.
It's already there.
It's already there, something to be recognized and drawn upon. This light is a manifestation of divine favor. And the call to seek none other than me encourages self-reliance on this inner divine connection.
Rather than looking outward constantly.
Exactly. Rather than constantly looking for external sources of validation or happiness or purpose, it fosters this deep sense of inherent worth, reminding us we are created rich in spiritual endowments.
And our task is to draw forth and radiate that inner light.
Yes, not to beg for illumination from outside sources.
These are truly profound passages, these pearls of wisdom. The source suggests committing them to memory over time, and it makes you think, how do these few passages, if you really internalize them, shape a Baha'i's understanding of self and purpose in a distinct way?
That's a great question. If genuinely internalized, these passages offer a remarkably clear, holistic framework for a life of purpose and meaning. They fundamentally shift your perspective. You move from purely self-centered goals to a broader, altruistic, divinely ordained purpose. You move from questioning your worth to recognizing your inherent spiritual nobility, that divine light within.
From isolation to oneness.
Exactly. From feeling isolated, you embrace the oneness of humanity, your interconnectedness with all creation. From being overwhelmed by worldly transience, you find security in the enduring love of God.
And from passive recipient to active participant.
Yes. From merely reacting to life, you become an active, justice-seeking participant in building that ever-advancing civilization. It provides a profound sense of rootedness, of direction.
Okay, so building on that call to action, that seeking, the unit moves into section 2. It urges us into more active engagement. It's subtly titled, Bestirring Ourselves, the nature of effort in seeking wisdom.
Bestirring ourselves, I like that verb.
It encourages rereading that ocean passage and doing some exercises to deepen understanding. And it asks right at the start, what does it mean to bestir oneself? It's clearly more than just casual interest, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. To bestir oneself implies an active rousing, a shaking off of spiritual inertia. It's about taking initiative, moving beyond mere curiosity or passive learning.
Like waking up, spiritually speaking.
Exactly. Think of it as waking up and deliberately choosing to engage. The qualitative difference lies in the intentionality and the energy behind the action. Casual interest might mean, I don't know, browsing a book.
Right.
Bestirring oneself means actively engaging with its concepts, reflecting on them, maybe discussing them with others. It signifies a conscious, deliberate decision to overcome spiritual laziness or procrastination.
To become proactive.
Proactive in seeking knowledge and truth, it's commitment, not just a fighting impulse.
And then the next logical step is asked, what does it mean to strive to attain something? That implies something much more sustained, more persistent than a single effort.
Yes, striving to attain goes way beyond a one-time attempt or a fleeting burst of enthusiasm. It denotes sustained, dedicated, persistent effort.
Not giving up easily.
Right. It's not just trying once and giving up. It's a continuous, earnest exertion towards a goal, recognizing that deep understanding, spiritual growth, accessing these pearls, it all requires ongoing commitment. It implies a journey.
A journey, not a single destination.
And a willingness to encounter and overcome obstacles along the way. It's about consistency and resilience.
So if we're bestirring ourselves in striving, the next question is, what should every seeker strive to attain? What are we actually reaching for?
Well, ultimately, we should strive to attain those pearls of wisdom, those benefits that are preordained within Baha'u'llah's revelation. It's about grasping the very essence of his teaching.
Not just intellectually.
No, spiritually and practically, so they can transform our lives and our service to humanity. It's about internalizing the truth, allowing it to manifest in our character and our actions.
And the original quote we started with used that phrase, in proportion to the eagerness of his search and the efforts he hath exerted. This leads directly to the question, what does it mean for one thing to be in proportion to another? How does this apply to spiritual growth?
It signifies a direct, undeniable correlation, a link. The spiritual benefits received, whether it's deeper understanding, inner peace, increased capacity for service, they are directly proportional to the eagerness of our search and the efforts we have exerted.
So no spiritual free lunch, essentially.
Pretty much. Growth is earned through conscious exertion. It removes any sense of randomness or, unfairness from spiritual progress. The more sincere, dedicated, consistent our effort, the greater the spiritual insights, capacities, fulfillment will gain.
A divine law of reciprocity.
You could say that. Spiritual output is directly related to our spiritual input.
So what do these efforts actually look like in practice? The source gives some concrete examples of the efforts that make us recipients of these benefits. It's clearly more than just passive reading.
Oh, yes, much more.
It mentions studying, praying, meditating, actively applying teachings in daily life, engaging in service. How do these actions actively make us recipients?
Well, these are all active forms of engagement, aren't they? Moving beyond mere intellectual consumption. Studying means deeper contemplation, analysis, not just scanning words. Praying and meditating are direct, conscious connections to the divine, opening channels for inspiration.
And applying the teachings.
Actively applying teachings means integrating them into our decisions, our interactions, our problem solving, making them living principles, and engaging in service. That's the ultimate outward expression of inner transformation.
Where the principles are tested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tested and refined in the crucible of real-world challenges. These efforts make us receptive because they align our inner state and outer actions with the very flow of divine grace. They cultivate the soil of our hearts, so to speak.
Preparing the ground for the seeds of wisdom.
That's a good way to put it.
And what about the benefits? What are some tangible examples of what we actually receive from this sustained effort, this active engagement? The source lists things like spiritual understanding, inner peace, guidance in decision-making.
Yes, increased capacity to serve, a deeper connection to the divine, a transformed perspective on life's challenges. These are the undeniable fruits of sustained, sincere effort.
Can we unpack those a bit? What does spiritual understanding mean beyond just knowing facts?
I think it's a profound, intuitive insight into the nature of reality, into God's plan. It's deeper than intellect alone.
An inner peace.
A deep tranquility that can persist even amidst life's storms. A core stability. Guidance in decision-making comes from maybe a clearer moral compass, heightened intuition.
And increased capacity to serve.
Growing in effectiveness, resilience in our acts of contribution. A deeper connection to the divine.
Well, that's a profound, personal, ever-unfolding relationship.
And the transformed perspective. That allows us to view challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth, turning stumbling blocks into stepping stones. They all feed into a more joyful, purposeful existence.
It makes perfect sense that the more we put in, the more we get out a kind of fundamental spiritual economy. How does recognizing this proportionality inspire you? Does it encourage greater effort in your own pursuit of knowledge or spiritual growth?
For me, recognizing this proportionality creates a deep sense of empowerment, actually, and accountability. It removes that sense of randomness from spiritual progress. If I desire deeper understanding or a stronger connection, I know the path involves greater exertion.
So it encourages intentionality.
Intentionality and consistency, definitely. Knowing that genuine spiritual transformation requires conscious cultivation.
Have you seen specific benefits from your efforts that maybe weren't obvious when you started?
Often subtle but profound things. A greater sense of resilience when faced with adversity. Unexpected moments of clarity that just illuminate complex situations. And a deeper sense of interconnectedness with others, which fuels a genuine desire for collective well-being. It just reinforces the truth that the divine is always responsive to sincere, sustained striving.
Not just fleeting interest, it creates a powerful feedback loop for me too.
Yeah.
When I've really leaned into something, the clarity or peace that follows feels directly linked to the intensity and consistency of that initial push. It's like validation that the effort is worth it.
Exactly. That validation is key.
Okay, now we've talked about bestirring ourselves, exerting significant effort, but then section 3, the astonishing nearness of the ocean, introduces this, well, astonishing paradox.
Ah, yes. The nearness.
We're told to exert utmost effort to attain the shores, yet Baha'u'lláh then declares, "O my servants, the one true God is my witness. This most great, this fathomless and surging ocean is near, astonishingly near unto you."
Behold, it is closer to you than your life vein. Swift as the twinkling of an eye ye can, if ye but wish it, reach and partake of this imperishable favor.
It seems like a contradiction. How can it be so near yet require such strenuous effort to reach?
It's a beautiful and absolutely central revelation, isn't it? The source asks, to what does the phrase, this most great, this fathomless and surging ocean refer?
And the answer is?
It's a direct, emphatic reference to Baha'u'llah's revelation itself, the entirety of his divine teachings, his laws, his love, his transformative power. It's all there, ever present, encompassing reality.
So if it's the revelation itself, how close is this ocean to us? The passage says, astonishingly near. Closer to you than your life vein. That specific phrase, closer than your life vein, it echoes in other scriptures too, doesn't it? Like the Quran. What's the deeper resonance there?
It absolutely implies an inner spiritual proximity, not a physical distance to be traversed. Closer than your life vein signifies an absolute inescapable intimacy, not just a comforting feeling, but a fundamental truth of existence.
So the divine reality isn't out there somewhere.
Exactly. It suggests the divine reality, the essence of the revelation, isn't somewhere we have to travel to or, beg for. It's intricately woven into the very fabric of our consciousness, our being, always present, always accessible.
So the challenge isn't distance.
The challenge is our own perception, our own spiritual readiness to perceive and partake of what is eternally present. It's about unveiling, not acquiring.
And then the speed. How quickly can we reach this ocean, swift as the twinkling of an eye? But there's that crucial condition attached. If you but wish it.
Ah, the condition.
Yeah.
What's the significance of if you but wish it?
That condition, if you but wish it, is the absolute key that unlocks the paradox. It underscores the immense power of intention, of the sincerity of spiritual readiness. The revelation isn't distant. Our perception or our receptivity might be veiled.
Veiled by ego, attachments, distractions. Precisely. The swiftness isn't about magical transportation, but about the immediate access available once our inner state, our desire, our wish, our pure intention aligns with this ever-present divine reality.
So the effort we talked about earlier
It's precisely the effort to cultivate this inner alignment, this sincere wish.
Okay, so connecting the paradox. The effort from section 2 isn't about traversing a physical distance. It's about cultivating that inner state, the eagerness, the wish, the detachment from self that allows us to perceive and partake of what's already eternally present and profoundly near.
Exactly right. It's about removing the veils, not building bridges across some chasm.
The effort is entirely internal then.
Entirely. It's about clearing away the veils of self-centeredness, of material attachments, of preconceived notions, spiritual laziness, anything that prevents us from seeing and experiencing what is already closer than our life vein.
It's an effort to purify the heart and mind.
Yes. so that the inherent light of the revelation can be fully perceived and embraced. The striving is for inner alignment, for receptivity, for a state of being where we're open and ready to receive the boundless bounty that's always at hand.
How does understanding this profound nearness of the ocean transform your approach to spiritual practice? Does it make the effort feel less daunting, more internal, more about clearing the way?
It profoundly changes the perception, yes. It shifts it from a sense of maybe an arduous pilgrimage to one of profound recognition and intimate communion. The effort becomes less about building a bridge to something distant.
And more about removing self-imposed barriers.
Exactly. Removing the barriers that block awareness. It makes the pursuit of spiritual understanding less about performance and more about presence, less about acquisition, more about allowing what's already there to manifest and flow through us.
That fosters hope, doesn't it? Accessibility.
A deep sense of hope and accessibility, knowing the divine isn't remote, but intimately available for all who sincerely seek. It makes every moment an opportunity for connection.
For me, it reframes seeking entirely. Not crossing an ocean, but opening my eyes and heart to what's always been right here within me, surrounding me. The effort becomes removal, letting go of obstructions.
Well said.
Okay, so once we've metaphorically reached the shores and drawn from its treasures, Section 4, sharing the treasures, a sacred duty, tells us the next crucial step.
From partaking to sharing.
Right. The key principle here is that we share liberally and unconditionally the pearls of divine guidance that we continually discover through study, prayer, meditation, and efforts to serve.
And it sounds like this isn't just an optional extra.
No, it seems essential, an intrinsic part of the spiritual journey itself.
This transition from partaking to sharing is absolutely fundamental to the path of service and really to true spiritual growth. It emphasizes that the spiritual nourishment we receive isn't meant to be hoarded just for personal benefit.
The discovery leads to sharing.
Naturally, almost inevitably. The continuous discovery through our practices and service leads to this desire to share. We become conduits of divine grace, recognizing the joy of discovery is magnified in the act of sharing.
Baha'u'lláh reinforces the sacredness of this sharing with another powerful image. O wayfarer in the path of God, take thou thy portion of the ocean of his grace, and deprive not thyself of the things that lie hidden in its depths.
Be thou of them that have partaken of its treasures. A dewdrop out of this ocean would, if shed upon all that are in the heavens and on the earth, suffice to enrich them with the bounty of God.
A single dewdrop. The richness is immense. And then it speaks of drawing forth these treasures with the hands of renunciation and sprinkling them upon all created things,
that they may be cleansed from all man-made limitations and may approach the mighty seat of God.
This idea of drawing forth with the hands of renunciation, but what does renunciation mean here? It's clearly not about becoming a hermit or giving up all material things, is it?
No, it's a very specific and profound kind of renunciation in this context. It's not about material deprivation or abandoning worldly responsibilities. Here, renunciation refers to letting go of any attachment to personal gain, recognition, or even the outcome of the sharing itself.
So selfless giving.
Selfless giving of divine wisdom, without ego, without expectation, purely out of love and a desire for others' spiritual upliftment.
And sprinkling all created things.
That signifies the inclusive, universal nature of the revelation's transformative power. It's intended to cleanse humanity from all man-made limitations, prejudice, ignorance, disunity, and elevate them towards a divine reality. It's renouncing self-interest in favor of universal service.
What does it mean for you to share liberally and unconditionally in your own life? How can you become a clear channel for these dewdrops of divine guidance?
That's a constant reflection, isn't it? For me, sharing liberally and unconditionally means approaching interactions with an open heart, ready to offer whatever spiritual insight or principle might be relevant, without judgment, without expecting immediate reciprocation. And without forcing it.
Absolutely, without trying to force anything. It's about understanding these dewdrops aren't mine to own or control, but a trust to be freely shared.
And becoming a clear channel.
That involves cultivating a life consistent with the principles themselves, so the words have authenticity behind them, and recognizing the inherent spiritual capacity in everyone, regardless of their background or current beliefs. Trusting the word itself has power.
Planting seeds and letting them grow in their own time. For me, it often means trying to listen deeply first, understand where someone is, and then if it feels right, gently offering a principle, not just advice. Discerning where the dewdrop might truly land.
That sensitivity is crucial, yes.
This nurturing of seeds leads us beautifully into Section 5, the Word of God, a sapling in the heart.
Another wonderful analogy.
It highlights that as our capacity for service grows, say through these institute courses, various acts of service bring immense joy. Things like teaching children's classes, empowering junior youth, helping friends study.
Vital community activities. Exactly. And it says the Word of God is the constant source of inspiration in all these acts. Therefore, it's proper that we should meditate often on its power and its effect on the human heart.
Meditate on its power and effect.
Why is that so crucial, specifically in the context of service? Why meditate on the power?
That's a vital connection. The joy in service isn't just a general feeling of goodwill, it's specifically tied to sharing the Word of God. The reason it's crucial to meditate on its power is that the Word isn't static, it's not inert, it's a living force.
The Spirit of God.
The very Spirit of God, which profoundly impacts and transforms the human heart. Understanding this power reinforces our conviction and the efficacy of our service. It makes the Word the constant wellspring of inspiration.
Ensuring our service is rooted in divine truth, not just human opinion or social work.
Precisely. It reminds us we're conduits for a transformative power far greater than our own.
And Baha'u'lláh uses this incredibly rich analogy. The Word of God may be likened unto a sapling whose roots have been implanted in the hearts of men.
It is incumbent upon you to foster its growth through the living waters of wisdom, of sanctified and holy words, so that its root may become firmly fixed and its branches may spread out as high as the heavens and beyond.
So, first question the unit asks, to what may the Word of God be compared?
A sapling.
And what does that comparison suggest about its nature?
It immediately implies an organic, living, growing nature. It's not a rigid, fixed doctrine, but something dynamic that takes root, draws sustenance, develops. It suggests potential for tremendous growth from a seemingly small, fragile beginning.
Life, development, flourishing.
Yes, an inherent capacity for expansion.
And where have the roots of the tree of the Word of God been planted? The location seems deeply significant.
In the hearts of men. This is such a profoundly hopeful statement. It implies an innate, universal, spiritual receptivity within every single human being.
Regardless of background, culture, or current beliefs.
Yes. The potential for divine truth to take root is inherent in our very nature. It means we don't need to create this potential. We merely need to provide the right conditions for what's already present to flourish.
So if the sapling is already rooted, how should we foster the growth of this tree? What are these living waters of wisdom, of sanctified and holy words, in practical terms?
That phrase, living waters, emphasizes that the nourishment must be pure, spiritual, aligned with divine principles. In practical terms, these waters include our consistent, meditative study of the sacred texts.
Prayer. Application.
Our sincere prayers, moments of devotion, our willingness to apply these teachings in daily life through acts of compassion and selfless service. But it also includes the quality of our conversations.
How so?
Ensuring they are uplifting, constructive, focused on spiritual themes. Rather than gossip or negativity, it's about creating an environment where the Word can genuinely thrive, both within us and around us.
And the potential for this growth is described as truly limitless. To what heights can this tree grow?
As high as the heavens and beyond. It speaks to boundless potential for spiritual understanding, expression, transformation, both individually and collectively.
Transcending all limitations.
Human, intellectual, material limitations. Elevating individuals and, by extension, civilization itself to unimaginable spiritual and intellectual heights. It's a vision of continuous, infinite ascent.
And finally, a summary question. Explain in a few sentences why sharing the Word of God with others is of the utmost importance. Why is this act of teaching so critical?
Sharing the Word of God is paramount because it is the living water that nurtures this sapling, not just within ourselves, but critically in the hearts of others. It's the essential catalyst for its growth.
Watering the seed in another.
Exactly. Through sharing, the seed of potential within another person is watered, helping it become firmly fixed, spread its branches, leading to profound individual and collective transformation. Without this consistent sharing, that innate spiritual potential remains dormant.
And the vision of an ever-advancing civilization remains unfulfilled.
Right. It's the active, ongoing process of spiritual cultivation for the entire human race.
Considering this powerful analogy, how does your own heart feel like a plowed field, ready for the seed of the Word of God? And then, how do you actively water this sapling in yourself and others?
That's a great personal question. My heart often feels like a plowed field. sometimes fertile and receptive, other times rocky and resistant, but always capable of receiving the seed.
And watering it.
Watering the sapling in myself involves a deliberate daily engagement with the writings, consciously trying to apply the teachings to my thoughts and actions, actively seeking spiritual insight. For others,
Yes.
it's about creating spaces where these living waters can flow through thoughtful conversations, collaborative study groups, or simply demonstrating the principles in daily life, compassion, service, recognizing that every genuine connection can be an opportunity to nurture this potential.
Trusting in the power of the word itself. For me, that plowed field idea means I need to actively prepare my heart, clear away distractions, cultivate openness through reflection. And watering it involves prayer, study, but also sharing. The act of sharing deepens my own understanding, solidifies the roots within me. It's a virtuous cycle.
A virtuous cycle, beautifully put.
Section 6 then pivots to the true source of joy and service, which is really the central theme of this whole unit.
Getting to the heart of it.
It asks us to reflect on our various daily activities, nourishing our bodies, studying, working, recreation. These are all important for progress and well-being, take up much of our time.
Necessary parts of life.
But then it contrasts these with special moments charged with spirituality. Moments like prayer, deepening knowledge with friends, helping others discover those pearls hidden in the ocean.
Ah, those moments.
It then asks, are not these moments precious beyond measure? Is there any greater joy than being able to partake of these heavenly blessings? This contrast suggests a kind of hierarchy of joy, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The contrast highlights that while daily activities are necessary, contribute to well-being, these special moments offer a unique, profound kind of fulfillment that transcends ordinary happiness.
Why precious beyond measure?
Because they connect us directly to a divine purpose, to the sacred. They bring spiritual sustenance described as heavenly blessings. This is a joy rooted in transcendence, in connection to something greater than ourselves, not just in worldly achievements or comforts.
And Abdu'l-Bahá encourages dedication to humanity's upliftment, saying, we are all united in one divine purpose, no material motive is ours, and our dearest wish is to spread the love of God throughout the world.
That really reinforces the purity of motive required.
The underlying motivation must be divine love, not personal gain, not ego.
This quote is foundational for understanding that purity. It clarifies our service is driven by a shared altruistic aim, the divine purpose, and explicitly states no material motive is ours.
Ensuring our efforts are genuinely for others' well-being.
And out of pure love for God, rather than self-interest, recognition, or external rewards, serving with complete detachment from worldly outcomes.
Okay, so here's a scenario the unit presents to test this idea of intrinsic joy. Suppose you share a memorized quotation with a friend, hoping they'll be uplifted. But what if they don't show the enthusiasm you expected? Maybe they seem uninterested.
A common experience, perhaps.
The question is, does the joy in your heart simply vanish? Why not? What should be our true source of satisfaction?
And the implied answer, the profound insight, is a resounding no. The joy in your heart does not vanish, or at least it shouldn't.
Why not?
Because it's intrinsic to the act of sharing the Word of God itself. It comes from fulfilling a spiritual duty, aligning with a divine purpose, from the pure act of giving. It does not and should not depend on the recipient's immediate reaction or external validation.
The joy is in the act itself.
Exactly. The joy is in the act itself of giving and serving, being a channel for divine bounty, regardless of the immediate observable outcome. Our satisfaction should come from the purity of our intention in the act of service, not the fruit it bears in others.
Think about a time you've offered help or shared something meaningful. Did your joy depend entirely on the reaction, or was there an intrinsic satisfaction? For me, it's definitely the latter. A positive response is nice, of course, but there's a deep satisfaction in just putting good out there, knowing you've done your part, even if it feels like it lands flat sometimes. The act itself is the reward.
I agree completely. There's such a profound difference between joy derived from external validation and the intrinsic satisfaction of an act of selfless service. When I've shared something deeply meaningful, the lasting joy stems from the purity of the intention and the act of giving.
The absence of a positive reception doesn't diminish it.
No, it doesn't diminish that inherent spiritual satisfaction that comes from aligning with a higher purpose. It's about being a clear channel, as you said, not controlling the flow or the destination. That inner peace remains, because the motivation was love, not outcome.
This leads perfectly into Section 7, detachment. The the prerequisite for joyful service.
Detachment, a crucial concept.
The key conclusion is reiterated. The joy we derive from service lies in the act itself. And then there's this crucial warning, which I think many of us can relate to. If we are too attached to the results, if we are overly affected by praise or criticism, we will lose the joy of teaching.
That rings true.
The true inspiration is defined as the love of God, not the desire to have success, to receive benefits, or to gain recognition. So it concludes, detachment from all these is a requisite of joyful service. Why is detachment so absolutely essential for sustaining this joy?
Well, this is really a cornerstone for sustainable, joyful service. Attachment to results, to praise, to criticism. It fundamentally shifts the focus from the divine purpose to ego-driven desires.
And those are unstable.
Inherently unstable, subject to external fluctuations. Praise inflates the ego. Criticism deflates the spirits. These external factors inevitably lead to a loss of joy when expectations aren't met or when, the winds of public opinion shift.
The true joy.
True, enduring joy flows from a pure motive rooted solely in the love of God and humanity. When our service is purely for God's sake, unburdened by self-interest, its joy becomes unwavering because its source is unwavering. Detachment liberates the spirit.
Liberates it to serve purely and consistently.
Precisely.
The section provides several powerful quotes on detachment to deepen our understanding. The first one, "O man of two visions, close one eye and open the other. Close one to the world and all that is therein, and open the other to the hallowed beauty of the beloved." How does this paradoxical instruction help cultivate detachment?
It's a profound invitation to shift our internal gaze, isn't it?
Yeah.
To fundamentally reorient our perspective, our priorities. Closing one eye to the world doesn't mean ignoring it or withdrawing from responsibilities.
It means detaching our affections from it.
Exactly. Detaching our affections from its transient allure, its material possessions, its fleeting praises and criticisms. Simultaneously, opening the other eye to the hallowed beauty of the beloved means focusing our inner attention, our love, our aspirations on the spiritual reality of God.
Consciously choosing what occupies our heart.
Yes. Ensuring our inner life is centered on the divine, which then informs how we engage with the world. It's about spiritual vision, seeing the eternal amidst the temporal.
Another powerful statement. "O friends, abandon not the everlasting beauty for a beauty that must die, and set not your affections on this mortal world of dust." That's clearly about prioritizing the eternal over the transient. But what are the practical implications in our very material world?
Yes, it's a direct call to spiritual discernment, a reorientation of our affections. It reminds us worldly attractions, while sometimes compelling, are inherently fleeting, ultimately unsatisfactory if pursued as ends in themselves.
While the everlasting beauty offers true fulfillment.
True and lasting fulfillment. The practical implication in our modern materialistic world is a conscious effort to resist the constant pressures of consumerism, status, superficial accomplishments. It means finding our joy and purpose not in what we acquire or how others perceive us.
But in spiritual growth, service, connection to the divine.
Right. It allows us to use material resources wisely without being owned by them.
And then, "O son of utterance, turn thy face unto mine and renounce all save me, for my sovereignty endureth and my dominion perisheth not." That emphasizes centering one's entire being on God. How does that centering foster detachment?
This quote powerfully articulates the core of true spiritual detachment. Centering one's entire being, aspirations, ultimate trust on God alone. When God becomes the singular focus and source of our purpose, our needs, our joy, then everything else naturally falls into its proper place.
Because his sovereignty endures.
Exactly. It assures us that anything sought apart from God will ultimately prove futile or transient. By finding our true anchor in the divine, we become less swayed by the shifting currents of worldly attachments. Our ultimate security isn't contingent upon them.
Then a truly beautiful, poignant passage. "O befriended stranger, the candle of thine heart is lighted by the hand of my power. Quench it not with the contrary winds of self and passion. The healer of all thine ills is remembrance of me, forget it not."
The candle of the heart.
It's about protecting our inner spiritual light, finding healing in God. What are these contrary winds of self and passion that threaten our inner candle?
It's such a beautiful metaphor for that delicate, precious inner light of faith, devotion, pure intention within each heart. The contrary winds of self and passion are precisely those attachments and ego-driven desires that can diminish or extinguish this light.
Like pride, ambition, greed.
Yes. Pride, ambition for personal glory, covetousness, material greed, resentment, anger, even the subtle desire for recognition and praise. They're anything that diverts our attention and energy away from the remembrance and love of God.
And the remembrance of God is the healer.
Presented as the constant source of healing and protection, ensuring this inner candle continues to burn brightly, illuminating our path, our service.
And finally, a comprehensive statement. Detachment is as the sun. In whatsoever heart it doth shine, it quencheth the fire of covetousness in self. It goes on to say, the illumined person will detach from the world and its vanities, not be grieved by its vileness, and not filled with vainglory by riches or sorrow by poverty.
This portrays detachment not as passive, but as a powerful, purifying force, like the sun.
Yes. It illuminates and purifies the heart by extinguishing the fire of covetousness and self, which are the root causes of so much suffering. It liberates us from the emotional extremes tied to external circumstances,
Allowing for inner peace, equilibrium, regardless of wealth or poverty.
inner freedom from the grip of externals, enabling joyful, unburdened service.
Exactly. Untouched by the vileness or the fleeting pleasures of the world.
The section then wisely clarifies common misconceptions about detachment, which is so important because it's often misunderstood as just withdrawal or apathy.
Yeah, crucial clarifications.
It asks, does being detached mean living like a hermit? The answer is clearly no. And is it possible to be detached and to possess things at the same time? How can one possess without being attached?
Absolutely possible. Detachment is fundamentally about your inner state, where your affections truly lie, not about external circumstances or actions. You can possess material things, wealth, property, comfort, without being attached.
Meaning
Your happiness, your peace of mind, your spiritual well-being aren't dependent on those possessions. They're just tools, resources to be used for a higher purpose, to benefit humanity, without becoming enslaved by them or grieving their loss.
Yeah.
It's about being a steward, not a possessive owner.
Okay, so if someone dedicates practically every hour of their life to their work, can they still be considered detached? How does intense dedication fit?
This is nuanced, but yes, they absolutely can be. Dedicating oneself intensely to work, especially if that work is for a higher purpose, for the common good, serving humanity, that can be an act of profound service.
If the motivation is pure.
Exactly. If their motivation isn't personal gain, recognition, or accumulating wealth for its own sake, but contributing to society, developing capacities, fulfilling a divine trust, then that intense engagement isn't necessarily attachment. True detachment is about purity of motive, not lack of engagement.
What about the opposite? Is a person who works only enough to satisfy basic needs and spends the rest of the time doing nothing detached? This is a common perception of detachment, isn't it? Like opting out.
It is a common misconception, but the answer is not necessarily. Detachment doesn't equate to idleness, spiritual apathy, or lack of productive contribution. True detachment is about inner state and motive, not abstention from engagement.
So doing nothing could be its own form of self-focus.
If it's born of spiritual laziness, disengagement from humanity's needs, or a lack of desire to contribute, that's not detachment. It might be a different kind of self-indulgence.
And is a person unable to tolerate material discomfort in the field of service detached?
No. An inability to tolerate discomfort often points directly to an attachment to ease, comfort, material gratification. Detachment, by its nature, allows one to endure material discomfort willingly, even joyfully, in service of a higher cause.
Because the inner joy outweighs the outer inconvenience.
Precisely. It's a sign your happiness isn't contingent on external comforts.
So the core insight, detachment is about the inner state affections, motivation source, not external circumstances. And attachments go far beyond just material possessions, don't they?
Oh yes, the non-material ones can be trickier.
What are some common non-material attachments that hinder our joy in service? The source lists things like giving up when efforts are unacknowledged,
That shows attachment to recognition and praise.
becoming demoralized when ideas aren't accepted,
Reveals attachment to outcomes and the validation of others.
hiding beliefs due to fear of rejection.
Prioritizes social acceptance over truth and conviction. All of these divert our motivation away from the pure love of God and humanity.
Leading to loss of joy when those external conditions aren't met.
Exactly.
The source provides some excellent contrasting examples. What might be a sign of non-detachment versus healthy, selfless engagement? For instance, to stop teaching a class when a few children misbehave is non-detachment.
Indicates attachment to an idealized, smooth outcome. Lack of patience. Desire for easy success.
But to derive joy from seeing the progress of others is not non-detachment.
Right. That demonstrates a selfless focus on the growth of those being served. The joy comes from their progress, not your personal ease or acclaim. Healthy engagement.
And to brag about one's accomplishments clear non-detachment.
Yes, attachment to ego, external praise, needing validation.
But to study hard and feel content with the progress one makes is not.
Correct. That reflects intrinsic satisfaction with personal growth, increased capacity, the effort itself. No external acknowledgement needed. The reward is internal.
Another one. To be disheartened when not praised for one's efforts. Non-detachment.
Highlights attachment to recognition as the fuel. When the fuel isn't provided, the engine stalls.
But to work hard to develop one's capacity to serve the common good is not.
That signifies a pure motive service for its own sake, for the benefit of all, irrespective of personal acclaim. The reward is in the act and the impact, not individual recognition.
How do you differentiate between healthy dedication and unhealthy attachment in your own pursuits? What contrary winds might you personally find trying to dim the candle of your heart?
That's a constant process of self-awareness, isn't it? For me, healthy dedication involves persistent effort, resilience, a deep inner sense of purpose, regardless of immediate feedback. Unhealthy attachment often manifests as anxiety over outcomes, emotional ups and downs based on praise or criticism, maybe a tendency to give up when things get tough or don't yield expected results.
And the contrary wins.
The subtle pull of comfort, maybe.
Sure.
The temptation to avoid discomfort or difficult conversations. Or the desire for intellectual recognition rather than pure, humble contribution. Recognizing these and actively choosing to redirect my focus back to the pure intention of serving God and humanity. It's a constant, conscious effort.
For me, it often comes down to where my happiness ultimately resides. If it's contingent on a specific external outcome or reaction, it's probably attachment. If I feel satisfaction from the effort itself with pure intention, that feels like healthy dedication. The wins for me are often self-doubt, desire for quick results, comparing myself to others.
Those are common ones, I think. That self-awareness is key.
Moving to Section 8, we learn that to receive the bounties of a joyous life of service, we must be willing to exert effort, and our efforts may require some degree of sacrifice.
Effort and sacrifice linked together.
What's the crucial distinction between mundane sacrifices, like, losing sleep for a party, and the profound true sacrifice described here?
The source clarifies that true sacrifice involves renouncing that which is lower for the higher, like a seed sacrificing itself to become a tree.
So it's not just giving up comfort for another personal benefit.
Right. Mundane sacrifices are often about trading one personal comfort or pleasure for another. True sacrifice is a spiritual act of giving up something of lesser, transient value, comfort, time, ego, possessions for a greater, eternal spiritual reward or purpose.
With the understanding that this act is the bearer of joy.
Exactly. It's a transformative process. The seeming loss leads to an immeasurable spiritual gain. It's not about deprivation, but profound spiritual investment.
Baha'u'lláh emphasizes this. Labor is needed if we are to seek him. Ardor is needed if we are to drink the nectar of reunion with him. And if we taste of this cup, we shall cast away the world.
Labor and ardor. Intense words.
And Abdu'l-Bahá advises, rest ye not, seek ye no composure, attach not yourselves to the luxuries of this ephemeral world, free yourselves from every attachment, and strive with heart and soul to become fully established in the kingdom of God. He continues, urging us to gain heavenly treasures and draw nearer to oneness day by day.
These quotes really underscore the intensity of effort required, don't they? They paint a picture of relentless spiritual pursuit. Rest ye not, seek ye no composure, strive with heart and soul.
It's a call to profound, continuous commitment.
To spiritual transformation, casting off the ephemeral for the eternal, pursuing spiritual treasures with maybe even greater intensity than we pursue worldly success. It's a call to profound, consistent spiritual discipline.
So what are the practical implications of exerting this kind of effort? The source notes the direct correspondence between energy required and the difficulty of the goal. We can't expect transformative results with minimal effort.
Right. It prevents unrealistic expectations and discouragement. We understand significant spiritual transformation won't happen effortlessly.
It also stresses consistency, perseverance, sustained focus, and the habit of completing tasks, not jumping around. With the warning, half-hearted efforts do not bear fruit.
These are universal principles for effective action, aren't they? Consistency and perseverance mean sustained commitment, often more impactful than sporadic bursts of effort, especially in spiritual habits.
Focused effort channels energy effectively.
And completing tasks builds momentum, avoids wasted energy. For service, it means dedicated, long-term commitment. For personal development, consistent daily practices not just when inspired, but as a deliberate act of will.
The children's class teacher example really illustrates this. It contrasts the committed teacher preparing, focusing, visiting parents, following progress with an inconsistent one who prepares occasionally, ends early, neglects follow-up, cancels classes.
And asks why such a class fails.
What's the crucial lesson here about effort?
It vividly illustrates that half-hearted, inconsistent efforts just don't create the conditions needed for growth and learning. The sapling of understanding in the children, or in any community effort, can't thrive without continuous, focused watering.
Momentum is lost. Connection breaks down.
Exactly, making genuine, sustained progress impossible. It highlights that success in any transformative endeavor, especially service, is built on sustained, diligent, consistent effort. Not sporadic enthusiasm, it's the power of perseverance.
And this principle applies not just to outward service, but also to our own development, our spiritual habits like prayer, reading, pondering, participating in devotionals.
It broadens the application significantly. Our personal spiritual habits need the same consistent, focused effort as external service. They're interconnected.
Inner life fuels outer service.
And both depend on continuous, deliberate exertion.
Yeah.
It reinforces that twofold purpose, individual growth and societal transformation. Neither happens without sustained personal commitment. Spiritual discipline isn't optional.
It's the engine of progress.
Well put.
The section lists several universal statements about effort. Let's look at a few. No pain, no gain. True or false in this context?
True, I'd say. It aligns with the idea that genuine effort, especially for higher goals, often requires overcoming discomfort, stretching beyond current capacities, sacrificing immediate gratification. The pain isn't punitive, but part of building spiritual muscle.
The greater the prize, the greater the striving.
True. The magnitude of effort naturally aligns with the magnitude of the goal. Achieving something significant inherently demands greater dedication, perseverance, sacrifice. The prize inspires the effort.
Small steps, frequent and consistent, can go a long way.
Absolutely true. Emphasizes the profound power of perseverance and consistency over intensity alone. Even small, consistent efforts compound over time, leading to significant progress. The steady drip that carves the stone.
And a particularly relevant one, we won't achieve our twofold purpose by magic.
Absolutely true. Underscores that spiritual growth and societal transformation aren't automatic or mystical. They result from conscious, deliberate exertion, sustained effort, willingness to overcome challenges. It grounds our aspirations in reality.
The conclusion on effort reiterates our twofold purpose and quotes Bahá'u'lláh. Success or failure, gain or loss, must therefore depend upon man's own exertions. The more he striveth, the greater will be his progress. How does this understanding of sacrifice and exertion reshape your perspective on challenges? Where are you called to exert greater effort?
It completely reframes challenges as crucibles for profound growth, not just barriers. It imbues struggle with deep purpose, knowing that embracing exertion and sacrifice leads to spiritual progress and intrinsic joy. It shifts from what I have to give up to what I gain in spiritual capacity and in freedom.
And where are you called to exert more effort?
For me, consistently maintaining spiritual composure amidst daily pressures, sustaining a truly prayerful attitude throughout the day. That requires continuous, conscious exertion, willingness to renounce the lower for the higher in countless small moments, a constant recalibration.
For me, it transforms challenges into opportunities, crucibles for resilience. The sacrifice isn't loss, but investment. I often need to apply this more to consistency in personal study and reflection, really sitting with the writings, not just outward actions, cultivating the inner landscape diligently.
That inner cultivation is key.
Finally, we arrive at section 9, optimism, gratitude, and humble gratitude. To derive and sustain this joy, we need certain attitudes. One is thankfulness for the bounty of service. It is unthinkable to imagine that we are doing God a favor when we serve his cause.
A posture of immense, humble gratitude.
What's the significance of viewing service as a bounty rather than a burden or obligation?
It's a profound shift. Viewing service as a bounty transforms our whole approach. It means recognizing the opportunity to serve, to be an instrument for betterment, is itself a divine favor, a blessing, a privilege.
Not something we do for God.
Exactly, not out of mere obligation. This deep gratitude cultivates humility, pure intention, essential for sustaining that inner joy. It reminds us we're responding to a divine invitation. Our capacity to contribute is a gift, not a personal accomplishment. Removes self-importance.
And then optimism. Avoiding pessimism, approaching life optimistically, especially obstacles. Viewing difficulties as opportunities for progress with eyes of faith. How does this spiritual optimism differ from just general positivity?
This spiritual optimism is far more than just general positivity or superficially looking on the bright side. It's deeply rooted, born of faith in God's ultimate plan and the transformative power of his revelation.
It's seeing potential even in challenges.
Yes, the profound capacity to see potential, divine wisdom, opportunities for learning and growth even amid setbacks or seeming failures. It transforms obstacles from paralyzing roadblocks into stepping stones.
Vital for service.
Absolutely vital. Without it, the sheer scale of the world's problems can lead to discouragement, paralysis. Optimism, rooted in faith, provides the resilience to persevere.
Abdu'l-Bahá uses that wonderful seed analogy. In the beginning, how small is the seed, yet in the end it is a mighty tree. Look ye not upon the seed, look ye upon the tree and its blossoms and its leaves and its fruits. What are the implications for how we view our efforts, especially when they feel small?
It's such a powerful call to visionary thinking, unwavering faith. It compels us to look beyond the immediate, often seemingly insignificant effort, the tiny seed, to the magnificent potential inherent in God's plan.
To be hopeful even with small beginnings. To be hopeful when we see even the smallest tree growing and developing, trusting it will blossom and bear fruit eventually, even if the path is long and arduous. It implies our sincere, consistent efforts, however small they seem, are infused with immense potential.
Combats discouragement by focusing on the ultimate outcome.
Exactly. Keeps our eyes fixed on the glorious outcome of divine processes.
And building on that, we have a duty to tend and nourish and foster this tree of hope with the waters of our striving, linking our effort back to nurturing hope.
Brings it full circle, back to our active role. While God provides the seed and the rain of bestowals, our consistent, conscious striving, our effort, is the living water that nourishes this tree of hope. Highlights the essential partnership between divine grace and human exertion.
Our hope isn't passive, it's actively cultivated.
Yes, through our efforts.
And the section asks those powerful rhetorical questions. If the heart turns away from the blessings God offers, how can it hope for happiness? And if it does not put its hope and trust in God's mercy, where can it find rest? What's the ultimate message? They emphasize a fundamental spiritual truth. True, lasting happiness, peace, rest for the soul are found only in embracing divine grace, turning towards God's blessings, placing unwavering hope and trust in a benevolent Creator.
Turning away leads to turmoil.
Inevitably leads to spiritual desolation, inner turmoil, perpetual searching without finding. It's a call to conscious spiritual alignment as the only true source of inner peace and fulfillment.
The unit then directly addresses us. Do you agree that our joyful and hopeful spirit, combined with a posture of humble gratitude, is a source of joy to others? How does our inner state impact those around us?
A truly joyful, hopeful, humbly grateful spirit is undeniably infectious, profoundly uplifting. It's a powerful living testament to the transformative power of faith and divine principles.
We become beacons of light.
Beacons of light and attraction, inspiring and drawing others towards the very source of that joy. It multiplies joy in the world. It becomes a vital aspect of teaching, not just through words, but through authentic, radiant example. People are often more moved by our spirit than our eloquence.
And in arising to serve with these attitudes, we bear the glad tidings of the dawn of a new day, the day of the ingathering of humankind, connecting personal attitudes to this grand collective purpose.
This elevates our individual acts and inner states to a universal scale. Reminds us our personal journey and selfless acts are integral to a larger divine plan for humanity's unity, maturity, transformation. Our joy, optimism, gratitude become a direct reflection of those joyous tidings.
The section concludes with Baha'u'llah's words, beautifully summarizing the qualities explored. Happy are they who act, happy are they who understand. Happy the man that hath clung unto the truth, detached from all that is in the heavens and all that is on earth.
A perfect summation. Weaves together action, understanding, wisdom, clinging to truth, and detachment.
Happy are they who act, service, practice. Happy are they who understand, wisdom, learning. Happy the man that hath clung unto the truth, detached. Commitment and inner freedom.
Shows ultimate happiness isn't in external conditions, but this profound inner alignment.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the joy of teaching, we've really unpacked how the true, enduring joy of teaching and service is found not in external outcomes or recognition,
but profoundly in the act itself of sharing divine wisdom and love. It's intrinsic.
And this joy is sustained by consistent effort and a willingness to make sacrifice, choosing the higher spiritual gain over lower comforts. Understanding sacrifice bears joy.
It fundamentally requires profound detachment from worldly desires, from praise or criticism, with motivation rooted solely and purely in the love of God and the desire to serve humanity.
And crucially, that foundational spirit of optimism and humble gratitude is absolutely essential for resilience, seeing potential, turning obstacles into stepping stones.
Essential attitudes.
So here's a final thought for you, the listener, to ponder. Considering this understanding of joy, effort, and detachment, how might your personal definition of success in life be reshaped? What does it truly mean to succeed when the deepest joy is found in the giving, in the unfolding of spiritual capacity, in the act of selfless contribution, rather than in external achievements or material acquisition?
That's a profound question to carry forward. It really shifts the paradigm of success from external metrics to internal fulfillment, spiritual growth, meaningful contribution, a redefinition that brings lasting peace.
It truly does. And remember, this was just section 1 of 3 for Ruhi Book 2.
More to come.
We're going to be continuing this journey through Ruhi Book 2. The next section focuses on uplifting conversations, and that will be coming your way later this week.
A fascinating topic as well.
Definitely. So to make sure you don't miss that or any future deep dives, please do subscribe, maybe leave us a comment, share this deep dive with others who might find it meaningful.
And a big thank you again to all our existing subscribers, and a special welcome to our new channel members.
Your support really does make these deep dives possible.
Absolutely. We look forward to continuing this exploration with you very soon.